Okay, hey Tyler, my setup's a little wonky, but it's kind of spur of the moment here. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things. Some of them you may have seen before. If you've seen them before and your physical therapy was already doing it, then just start doing them again. If they're new, give them a try, see how they feel. So we're going to start with a little bit of lower back and rib cage stretching first, and then from there work into like 2 or 3 different upper body neck stretches and mobility. And I'm going to send you a video also. It's a YouTube video for neck mobility. Okay, I'm Martha, by the way. So I just realized I'm a little tilted, but anyway. So we're going to go ahead and start just with a back mobility, a little stretching. So the best thing to do is just to come onto your knees and tops of your feet. If your shins tend to be a little sensitive, you can just bring a blanket underneath. And what we're going to do is start with just a simple child's pose, as if you're familiar with the yoga, just on your knees, coming forward. Bring your rib cage as close to your thighs as possible. So we're not thinking about bringing the chest to the thighs, because you can see how that rounds my upper back. I want to start to close the distance right at this seam where the upper thigh and lower part of your pelvis meet. So you close that first, and then try to squeeze your waist towards your thighs, then the ribs. And you can see the difference in my back between that and this. So really laying the rib cage onto the thighs and walking the hands out further. So you might feel some stretch here. You may feel it a little bit in the lower back. And kind of digging in with your fingers, kind of pull yourself a little bit forward. And at the same time, you're going to squeeze down into the ground between your heels with your tailbone. So the tailbone squeezes down and the fingertips reach out. So it's actually fairly active, child's pose. Just letting yourself take a couple of really deep breaths. And let your head rest as much as you want on the floor or not at all. If this is a little bit too much in your shoulders, you can always bring your hands, fold the elbows, and bring your forehead on top of your wrists. So this is just your start pose. And you don't want to hold this for much more than maybe 30 seconds, because we don't want to cut off the circulation in your knees and your feet. So once you've done that, just go ahead and sit up, and you'll give your legs, knees, everything a little bit of a massage. And then we're going to come back and we're going to change our knee position a little bit. I'm going to bring a blanket under because I cracked my knees today. So coming back to that child's pose, we're going to lift up into what is called tabletop. And that's going to have the knees directly underneath the hips. And in this situation, we're going to bring the heel of the hands a little bit forward of your shoulders instead of directly underneath. A little bit further forward. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right knee, I'm going to slide it back a few inches, place the tops of my feet on the floor, and I'm going to go back to that position that we started, letting my seat bones go back, looking for this fold, my ribs to come as close to my thighs as possible without letting my hands move, sinking back as far as you can. So the temptation with that right knee back is going to be to lean to the left. And what we want to do is stay right down the middle. That tailbone stays right down the middle. So hands a little bit in front, right knee a little bit back, feet solid to the floor, and letting yourself sink back. Go as far as you can. Don't let your hands move. You may feel a little bit of stretch right through that waistline area. And then come back up, take a breath, and repeat. So you'll repeat this 3 to 5 times. And then after that 3rd or 5th time, sit back and hold for like 2 or 3 breaths. After that 3rd or 4th breath, release. Bring that right knee up to join the left. You can curl your toes if you want to and just sort of sit back into your heels. And then come back to the other side. Tops of the feet to the floor. Hands walk a little bit forward. Left knee this time slips back, holding that tailbone right in between the heels, not letting your hands move, bringing your ribs down towards your thighs, sitting back. Resist the urge to go to the right. Straight back and come back forward. See if you can keep breathing when you do this. This might be an exhale as you squeeze your seat bones in between the tailbone and coming back up. Again, 3 to 5 times, and after that 3 to 5th time, come back and hold for 3 to 4 breaths. Keep squeezing that tailbone down. Don't let the hands move, really glue them to the floor. And then letting yourself come all the way back up. Knee comes back, curl your toes. And just sort of sit back into your heels a little bit, stretch your feet. And then we'll go ahead and move out of this position. So I like to bring a blanket underneath my head. And then letting yourself roll down to the floor. Making sure the center of your pelvis is on the ground. You have a little bit of lightness in the back of the waist. And a lot of times the shoulder blades will be in all sorts of strange places. They'll be winged out to the side or high up. We want to bring them both down towards the back waist. So all the way across the upper part of your body is very flat, like a wide swath to just to rest on. So one shoulder blade is higher. If the shoulder blade's up, the shoulder pushes forward. So we want to get both of them down. I'm not pinching them together. I'm pushing them down towards my back waist. Once I get there, I'm going to back my right foot up a little bit until I can grab hold of that ankle. So my foot's out to the side. I haven't tried to back it into my rear end. I'm taking it out to the side. Foot's pretty far out. Holding on nice and tight. I'm going to take this left arm and wrap it over the top of my head and just tip my head to the left. Feeling, maybe walking my toes away a little bit till I feel some pressure, some pull down of that shoulder as I take my left ear to my neck, towards my left ear towards my left shoulder. And just taking a few breaths here, relaxing through that right shoulder. Maybe walk my toes a little bit more down as I hold that head slightly sideways. You might feel it in the side of the neck. Taking a few breaths. And then we'll release the head back to center. I'm going to take this left hand and scoop it underneath my head. Tip my chin down towards my chest. Rotate my head so my gaze turns to the left, and just go back and forth a few times, keeping my chin to my chest and turning my gaze, my face to the left. My head, my arm, my hand is doing most of the work. Back and forth a few times. And then eventually letting the face turn to the left. Slowly let your head come back to the ground and turning your head back to center. And just take a break. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side. If you want to, you can roll up a little bit, get a little extension in the back of your neck, and then just coming right back down. This time that left foot goes way out to the side, so you can grab a hold and start to walk your toes down until you have some pull on that left shoulder. Right arm this time comes over the top of the head and gently pulls your right ear to right shoulder. We'll just stay here for a few breaths, letting go of your jaw. Maybe walk your toes down a little bit more, a little more stretch into the side of that neck, unlocking the jaw, letting go of the shoulder joint. And then we'll let the head go back online. Right hand slips underneath the head. Tip the chin towards the head, chest. Then you'll
Rotate, head looks to the right, your hand's doing most of the work, and then back to center the whole time. The head is tipped forward. Turning, coming back, maybe 3 to 5 times. And then after that 3rd or 5th time, turning to the right, let the head come back to the floor, stay looking right, slip the arm out from underneath, and then turn the head back to center. Realign your feet, lifting up into that little bridge pose again, little pressure on the back of the neck, unlocking the jaw, and then slowly rolling yourself down. So that's that one. So what I would suggest is if you have more tightness on one side than the other, just repeat it. When you first come up from that, sometimes the head feels kind of wobbly because we've really stretched those neck muscles a lot. So then we're gonna go and do a little bit of shoulder mobility next. And I've got all these straps. I don't know if you're familiar with them, or these band straps. Or you may have just those TheraBands, whichever one you have, it doesn't really matter. But don't pick a really super heavy one. Maybe, like, I'm gonna pick this, what is this? The yellow is medium. No, I'm just gonna go with the light because we don't want too much resistance, just a little bit. So, coming up to standing, I'm gonna lead with my left, right foot's gonna be back. This band is gonna go underneath my foot in a nice good hold, and stand all the way up, looking straight ahead and looking for this right shoulder blade to be neutral, so it hasn't winged out or turned, just neutral stance. Start to pull that right elbow back, and I'm gonna turn and pull my right shoulder blade into my body. Come around, keep my shoulder blades neutral. Start to fold forward and round through the upper back, tuck the chin. Once again, flatten the back, pull the shoulder blade to neutral. Standing up, creating twist. Turning back to center, shoulder blades comes back to neutral. Coming forward, letting the right arm extend, round the back. Pull the shoulder blade back to neutral. Coming up. Turning, twisting, shoulder blade, right shoulder blade squeezes into the spine as you turn. Coming back to center, finding neutral shoulder blade. Release the arm, tip forward, round back, tuck the chin, and release. So after you've done this 2 or 3 times, I realized I'm not even in your field of vision anymore. After you've come back and pulled this right shoulder blade in, your head's turning. Coming back to neutral shoulder blade, right arm extends, coming forward, find that back arched up, the shoulder blades kind of moving away from your spine. We're gonna stay here for 2 deep breaths into the upper back. Chin is tucked. And then coming back up, settle the shoulder blade back into neutral. So if you noticed, can't see me anymore. So if you notice, I'm moving really slowly here. So this is really, as you exhale, think of pulling back, pull the shoulder blade into the spine. As you're starting to inhale, you're coming back to that neutral, letting the arm extend. Exhale is a rounding of the back. Inhale, coming back up to center. So I'm gonna do that on the other side so you can just sort of see it with the breath, because the breath is gonna be really critical here. If you remember what we were talking about before. So now I'll put it under my right foot, left hand is holding. Left foot steps back, comfortable distance so you can balance. Just finding neutral. Take a breath in. And we'll start with the exhale, pulling, turning, rotating, shoulder blade squeezes into the spine, turn the head. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, fold. And find that stretch in the shoulders, you tuck your chin. Inhale, coming back up to neutral shoulder blade. Exhale, pull the shoulder blade in. Inhaling back to neutral. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin. Inhaling slowly, your movement mirrors your breathing. After 3 to 5 times, hold for 2 to 3 breaths here. Come back up to neutral shoulder blade and release. So you, again, don't do like crazy strong resistance here. You want a medium resistance. I'm just using light here. So I'm assuming you're probably bigger than me, so you may want to go to medium, but play around with the resistance, what feels the best. It'll sneak up on you because you're moving really slowly, and we're really moving through these rhomboids, these deep muscles of the back. We're pulling, opening, stretching, and we're using the breath on the inside of the body to help get those deep internal muscles too. So I would start with those 3. Going to that bridge pose to allow your neck to stretch at any time is good. After you've done this exercise, that twisting one, you might want to come back to that sort of knee back child's pose to just give those muscles a break, or just a simple child's pose, or even a bridge pose. Just whichever one feels best at that point. If they look familiar to you, then just do them, as you were instructed with your PT. If they don't look familiar, just do them the best you can. If you have questions, let me know. And get back to the stuff that you were doing with your PT. If they worked, they worked, I'm gonna send you a video too of this guy. He's a chiropractor. I like the way he demos stuff. So I'm sending you the link. And just give those a try. See if they'll give a little bit of mobility for you and a little bit of strengthening too. Okay.